How is everyone doing today? It is February 18th of 2022 and I wanted to do a quick little video. It's never ends up being quick, but I want to give it a shot of our systems that we are starting seeds with. So we have a lot of things up and running. Things are moving so much that every time I try to sit down and have a particular idea for a video, it's changed or needs to be changed, and everything's just really overwhelming. I want everybody to know we're in a full-on content overload right now, but I wanted to show everybody a quick little part of the seed starting systems that we have and how things are operating over here, and a few of the things that we have growing on. So right here is our seed shelf. That's the seed vault right here, and I'll show that a little bit more in just a second. This right here is all the seeds that still need stored, all our saves from last year. Usually we're a lot more organized than this. I would like to let everybody know that I apologize for not as many seed shares going out this year. I think our first year that we started sharing seeds was 8 in a cold season, and then it was 13. One as our first and only outside of the country to Canada, and the other 12 were in the US. And then I also, the next year was 14, the next year was 24, and this year is sad 6. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. Our entire system needs a lot of work in order to kind of clean it out. We have shared a ton of seeds down at our local farm market with some of the vendors and stuff down there, but we're really behind on the seed shares, and I don't see that coming back anytime soon. Maybe next cold season or this warm season if nobody minds getting seeds when it's kind of out of the planting time frame. But just lots and lots of kind of chaos going on. These are the baggies where we organize stuff and write stuff down. This is our seed shelving system right here. These were normally 2 for $10, and checking for them again at the Home Depot, they are now 2 for $15. So these went up $5 in price, but they make a pretty good seed storage. You can kind of separate certain areas. Probably hundreds of thousands of seeds in that vault right here, but they can kind of click together like this on the side as well, so you can lock them all in and carry them as one frame piece. Kind of got some clear top where you can kind of see in of what you got in there without having to open them. But it's a system that's worked really well for us. I've seen other systems that work really well. That's our seed vault, and it is in desperate need of organization and cleaned out a little bit and stuff like that. Get rid of some of the really old seeds that are in there and make room for all the new orders we did. So we kind of gather our ideas here near the computer, watching everyone's videos, ordering our seeds, looking up information, all sorts of stuff like that. Take them here to the seed vault and the seed shelf, kind of plan what we're going to get, put all that together. A lot of our starting stuff is right here. What we'll do is underneath here we have a blue sled, and we'll put like whatever we're doing here on, drag it into the kitchen where we got seed starting mix. That's a dollar store bowl. It fits perfectly as almost a lid over the top of that one right there. We got a little bit of a drier soil. It's easier to work with, cleaner to work with when you're in a small space, but and then the other soil in there. So we'll fill up the trays, stuff like that, plant them up. A couple projects going on here. We're getting ready to do some sweet potato slips pretty soon, but get them all planted up, move them on into here. We call this Summertime Alley. This is where our main heat source is. It's an electric heater that's in a wall, and it comes down here and will keep our greenhouse warm. So these are some $25-ish grow lights that we got from Home Depot and Walmart. Both places sold them for about the same price. These are a small tray of peppers, 4 seeds per pod here, per section, and a bunch of different types. Some of these came from Dave the Hillside Gardener, and some of these came from our saves from last year. These ones will be going to 2 people down at the farm market. I know that they have been watching our videos lately, so if they're watching this, and you're at the local farm market for me, and your name rhymes with Schmacher Hills Snarms or Faragold Schmardens, then one of these is for you and one of these is for you. So Schnacher Hills Snarms and Faragold Schmardens. And this, we replanted some red shiso that we got from a different seed vendor. We're not sure if we have a problem with starting them or we're missing something. Maybe they need a cold stratified or something like that first. Both these two rows have heat mats that are directly plugged in and running pretty frequently. But we grew something called lemon mint. It's supposed to be a mint, but it's more lemony smelling. Some majoram to maybe try some teas with that. Cumin is something that Angel uses frequently, so it would be something we would like to try in our yard. And then the red shiso again. Shiso. I keep calling it shiso. It's red shiso. Look at. This is the ginger that we started in the cupboard. And that's just a couple cilantro leftover seeds that we grew. All of them, you might be able to see that one right there. All of them have ginger coming up, except for one. And got ginger started early. Our grow season is super short. We're in zone 6B with a pretty high altitude, I think about 6,500, 7,000 feet altitude. And it can be really tough on a grow season, especially with our biggest challenge usually being how quickly the weather can change from cold to hot. This is our ornamental tray. It has tiny Tims, which will be transplanted pretty soon. I'll show that in a second. Minabelle, Explosive Ember, Sangria, whole bunch of ornamental peppers, Medusa, Black Pearl, Goldfinger. Been thinning them out. I've probably thinned 30 to 40 plants out already, and I probably have to thin another 20 or 30. But we're just letting them grow, and then the 3 or 4 that look the best, we'll leave them in the pods. We'll transplant them into the other cups and then move them into our shelving system. But this top one doesn't have a heat mat because I'm kind of planning on using the heat mat somewhere else in just a second. But get the seeds all gathered up, get them planted, get them here in the seed starting shelves. This is a little greenhouse that usually gets used for outdoors. I would like to warn everybody, if you're using one of these indoors, maybe make sure that the door is open, or make sure that you have some kind of venting or fan on there. I would hate for somebody to get one of these, have the door closed, have all these lighting systems going in. A lot of moisture gets condensed inside there and maybe gets on the lighting systems and shorts out one of their lights or whatnot. So maybe make sure that there's a kind of ventilation going on with this whole system if anybody uses these little greenhouses. But once they get going, decided like this one right here, I think there's 8 in here. We'll probably thin the 2 back smaller ones out, and this is the tiny Tim tomato, and then separated them into a 6-pack system that we like to use. So here's some of the cups. When you're doing it, the theory is you take a bottom cup like this, you take 2 cups, and one of our tips is trying to make sure you have a gap at the bottom. If you don't have a gap at the bottom, say you were using 2 of the exact same size, how closely those fit together, that's just 1 cup in a closed system really with it like that. So you might want to put a rock or a pebble or something that kind of keeps the separation so that you have a little bit of a gap. But you'll take the under cup and you will clip the inside cup. You'll clip the outer edges of that so that it can absorb. We put the beginning of the season, we'll put a paper towel or something in there, but if it's a little bit later in the season, we just pile the dirt in there and transplant. So we'll transplant each one of those tomatoes into a double cup system like that. See these ones right here? It'll have a gap down at the bottom. We also flip over 2 cups. And if you see, this whole thing is pretty stabilized, even missing some of it. So when you get it, it literally almost clicks into place and kind of keeps the whole 6-pack like that. So we'll transplant them into there, and then we move them to our shelving systems. So you can see a bunch of gear and a bunch of stuff. That all this stuff is just a bunch of chaos that needs to be used, condensed, reorganized, a little bit of it thrown out. This light right here, okay, I'll show you the two shelving systems. Both shelving systems are set at different areas. The one that's right here I keep down a little bit. That way when I found these sized bins that I could fit 3 of these in, I could slide them in there like a little section and have the lights a little bit closer. When we start getting bigger plants and they start getting up closer to the lights, I want a little bit of more height, so these shelving systems are both set to just a little bit higher as they come up. So the first place they'll go is to the ones where the lights are all the way down and I don't have to worry about any of that. And it also creates a bigger gap up here with the smaller two on these shelving system. These shelves cost us $40, or probably $50 or $60 now with the price raised on everything. These are the lemon seeds from the lemon we got from our market, and I know a bunch of them are going, but that's the only one showing so far. So once the plants are transplanted into the 6-pack systems, they'll go into this shelf. Once they start getting a little bit bigger, they'll go into this one. These are just LED shop light, double bulb shop lights that ran us about $25–30 each, I think. None of this stuff we bought all at once. A lot of the stuff you guys will see is gifts, and a lot of the stuff you guys will see was purchased piece by piece by piece as we expanded our systems and continue going. But we're already at 11:42. Wow. Alright, so let me show you what we got growing. This is oak leaf lettuce in a cup. We've trimmed this and the other one, red romaine lettuce. This come up from a free seed package from Mary's Heirlooms. That one came from Little Bean, from sharing some of her seeds years ago. This is regular chives. This is garlic chives we're just starting from our dollar seed order. This is chamomile from an older package, the chamomile tufts that we have going. These 4, the 2 in the back, let me see if I can get in there good. That one that actually has some flowers starting, and those 2 right there are toothache plant, also known as the electric daisy, and we got those from Irene's Garden and More, another content creator on YouTube. That is magenta chard, and it came from Tucson Urban Gardening. This right here is cinnamon basil, and it came from Oxheart Gardening, Rachel over at Oxheart. This is our sweet basil, and we need to top these. You can top basil a lot like you would top a pepper plant and make the plant a lot stronger, but they're really kind of gotten leggy. I probably should have double stacked a shoebox here to keep them closer to the light, but they just really took off on us when we got them in here. Even thinned, that's what they look like. But that's sweet basil, and it came from 4 or 5 year old dollar store seeds that probably cost us 20–25 cents 4 or 5 years ago. So we just used the leftover seeds and we got this. I don't know if we'll even have sweet basil in our yard this year. Angel says yes. So this one is spicy globe basil, and that came from Mary's Heirloom Seeds. I want to say that one came from that. Back here is 2 tamarillo, also known as the a tomato tree. It's a slower growing tomato style plant that's in the same family, but it's supposed to be a really unique kind of plant. That's a tamarillo. There's 2 of those, and those came from Candy's Garden on those 2. So those came from Candy's Garden, and these are 3 Manzano peppers, a black seeded rare style of pepper that's more used to a little bit of higher altitude climates, and we got 3 of those going. That's like my quest to get that pepper grown in my yard. It's supposed to be a really good pepper. We had a couple of them that we think we saved seeds on. We just they're all dried now, and I want to try it fresh. So, and this is leftover seeds and stuff like that. I know that there was a couple that were starting there from the tamarillo and manzano, but we really needed the section, so we just threw the leftovers in there, and we'll see what happens. So both of these bins up and going. This one's cleared out. We'll eventually be transplanting the Tiny Tim tomatoes first, and then each of these will go into like a cup method. Ran into the shelf system. And then after here, this one right here is a light. and we've been calling it our CBR light for CB and Renee. We had another light that was here, it burnt out. My family knows how much I appreciate my YouTube friends. You guys are like honorary family. So my sister says, you know what I mean, I could go ahead and use this until, or possibly permanently. I'm hoping permanently, but it's got the blue feature with the regular white light. It's got the red, or you can do both. It's got a fan on it. It's a really nice light, and it was supposed to be in a grow tent area that also had a fan in there. So we kept the little small gap right here pretty much open so that air ventilation doesn't cause it to heat up on the back side of that fan. But that one will be where we're putting plants right before they're given out to friends and family in the community, because we can't handle this many plants as we're planning on growing. And that one's the next flood spot. So this little shelf right here is really cool. I could take this shelf thing off, kick the little legs up, and put it inside of this bin and keep everything up closer to the light. So lots of plants growing, lots more getting started. Our battle strategy on the peppers and tomatoes is basically that. We'll start our peppers for our main yard peppers soon, and we will start the tomatoes soon after. So I know this is a longer video. When we do the peppers, I'm going to choose 6 types. Angel's going to choose 6 types. We're going to plant those in 6 rows, and once those get sprouted and go into the system to be taken out or saved for the yard, we will put a different type in there. So we'll keep on just relaying all the different varieties we can until the season comes. We're always planting early, on time, and late, so we'll see what happens. We don't even know what's going to make it into the yard. When we do the tomatoes, we leave the middle one empty and we do the 8 around the outside, and that'll be 8 different varieties and 8 different varieties. And usually with those, since tomatoes are such bigger plants and we're growing in such a small amount of space out in the yard, we're going to those will pretty much be, other than our dwarf varieties that we'll plant on, 6 or 7 of those will pretty much be our main varieties to try to compete for the yard. We'll probably die down the number of varieties of tomatoes this year and kick up the peppers a little bit, just because the plants are easier to handle. It is February 18th of 2022. Once plants finish the shelf system, they'll either go out to friends and family or the community. They will be held in the little bathrooms as almost like a last resort thing, and then they will be relayed also from the shelf systems outside and inside to harden them off as the season starts. Our yard is from here to the end 26.5 feet, about 27 feet. So you could say about 9 yards. And from one fence to the other, it's only 15 feet. It looks a lot bigger on camera than it actually is. It's all rock except for cement. We have to do everything in containers because we rent. But we're going to see how many unique types we can grow this year. So sorry for a 20-minute video. This is UT Angel and Kiddo, February 18th of 2022, and we are about ready to take off. Love you guys. Super triggered over here. Maybe not follow our lead. We're triggered early. If you're in the mid zones and lower, you might want to hesitate just a little bit, hold the line a little bit longer, and we love you guys, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.